So, should you turn a book into an audiobook? How hard is it to turn your book into an audiobook? And is there opportunities for audiobooks? Today, we're going to be talking about 4 reasons you should turn your book into an audiobook. Let's get started. Hey messengers, welcome to the Market Your Message Show. My name's Jonathan Milligan, and author of the book, Your Message Matters. And I have some exciting news to share in today's episode. At the time of this recording, our audiobook version of the new book, Your Message Matters, is now live. You can find it on Audible, iTunes, pretty much anywhere where you consume audiobooks, it is available to you. It's over 8 hours of audio, which is amazing. 256-page book turned into 8 hours of audio. Everything I know about how to take your passion, your story, your message, and turn it into a platform. Well, today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about 4 reasons you should turn a book into an audiobook. Now, right now, you might be listening or watching this episode, and maybe you've done a book in the past. Maybe you self-published a book, but you just, maybe for one reason or another, you decided not to do an audiobook. I hope to change your mind today because I got some cool facts to share with you today. Or maybe you're like, Jonathan, I've been thinking about doing a self-published book for a long time. So I want to know why I should go through the trouble of turning that book into an audiobook. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. But before we get started, maybe you're wondering, how do I get started in the first place? How do I know exactly what my message is? And how do I know I can get paid for sharing my advice? That's what we cover in the book, Your Message Matters, my new book. And for all of our listeners, you can actually get a free physical paperback copy sent to your house. All you got to do is pay for shipping. So just go to yourmessagemattersbook.com. Again, it's yourmessagemattersbook.com. Pay for the shipping and handling, ship out a book to you, and you can start reading it in the next couple of days and learn everything I know about starting and managing a business online. Whether you want a blog, podcast, you want to do YouTube videos, we cover all of it in this book. It is a roadmap for you as a messenger. All right, so let's get into our topic today. I want to talk about 4 reasons that you should turn a book into an audiobook. So without further ado, let's jump in. Reason number 1 is Amazon now has over 200 million users. In other words, they have 200 million customers. What that means is for us as online entrepreneurs, one of the most difficult parts of the process is the audience building piece, right? It's like, you put together a course, but you don't know where do I find people to buy my course? Or I've got coaching that I want to sell. So how do I find people to buy my coaching? But with a book or even an audiobook, you have the ability to sell the book or audiobook you've created on Amazon. So the traffic's already there. In fact, in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to show you something pretty amazing right now that is going on with audiobooks. And I think it's still the wild, wild west of audiobooks. I still think there's a gold rush that's coming. And you have an opportunity right now as an author of a book to capitalize on audiobooks. So that's reason number 1 is Amazon's got all the traffic for you. You just need to create the content and publish it on their platform. They will sell it for you. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is there's way less competition right now in audiobooks. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about because somebody saying it doesn't necessarily make it true. I'm going to show you an actual example. So if you're listening to the podcast, I'll describe it for you, but you can hop over to my YouTube channel. Just search for Jonathan Milligan on YouTube and you'll find it, or there'll be a link in this episode to the YouTube video. And I want to show you a screenshot I just captured today. So if you were to go over to Amazon right now and type in blogging. So my very, very first book before I published through a traditional publisher was a self-published book called 15 Success Traits of Pro Bloggers. I published that back in 2016 and I did it on Amazon. So right now that's like 6 years ago, which is hard to believe. But I published it on Amazon. And if you were to go on Amazon right now and search for blogging under the books category, let me show this screenshot, you will find that today there are over 20,000 results. That means 20,000 books I'm competing with my first book. If someone wants to type in blogging under the category of books in Amazon, that's a lot of competition. You know what's crazy? This is what I mean by audiobooks have become the gold rush, the wild, wild west. This is crazy, okay? If I were to go over to audible.com, which by the way, Amazon owns Audible, so anybody who buys an audiobook on Amazon, they're purchasing it on audible.com. And if I were to do the exact same search, blogging, you know what I'll find? 363 results. Whoa. Think about that. I want you to let that sink in. Over 20,000 authors have written books about blogging on Amazon's platform, but only 363 of them decided to turn their book into an audiobook. Now, I don't know the reasons why they didn't go that step, but the truth is the book's already created. Whether or not you narrate it or you have somebody else narrate it, I mean, you're basically taking the exact same words and just reading them and recording yourself reading those words. So why did 20,000 people who've written about blogging, only 363 people actually turn it into an audiobook? I discovered this, and I'll tell you how I discovered it. Not long after I published my first book, I did decide to go ahead and make it an audiobook. And you can do that through a platform called acx.com. Again, Amazon owns that platform now, but it allows you as a self-published author to also do a self-published audiobook. And here's the amazing thing. What I discovered after about a year into launching the book, talking about the book, was that I was selling way more copies of my audiobook than my book. And I was surprised by that because I'm like, most of the people who follow me are bloggers, they're writers, they're probably readers. Yes, I have a podcast, but man, I wonder why that is. And that's when I made that discovery of, wait a minute, there's not nearly as many audiobooks on the topic. So that's a pretty good reason, right? If you've already done a self-published book, maybe your eyes are wide open right now saying, what? I need to go turn my book into an audiobook. You can do that. If you're working on a book, I highly encourage you to go the extra step because you will make more money with the audiobook. I have made more money with my self-published audiobook about blogging than I have my actual books. And I've sold a lot of books in the last 6 years. So that's pretty amazing, right? Pretty incredible when you think of that. All right, here's reason number 3, passive income potential. Now, the truth is, to really make this like passive income potential that you can get from self-publishing a reality, you're going to have to be like, that's going to have to be your strategy of like, I'm doing 25 books. I'm going to do 50 books. I'm going to do 75 books. Like you're going to do a ton of books if you really want to make it your main source of income. And there's people who live off of their book and audiobook royalty income. So that is a strategy. However, I like to do more than just rely off of a book and audiobook. That's why I do courses and coaching, and I have kind of a mentoring program that people are in. And so I have multiple ways that I get paid. But this is what's interesting. I grabbed this snapshot today, and this snapshot is actually inside of my ACX account, which is your account for your audiobooks. And look at this. This is a monthly email that I get from Audible that tells me my royalties. So this is crazy, okay? Every month since 2016, I continue to make money on that audiobook. Now, it's not enough to like say, well, I'm just going to retire and I'm just going to just live off this one audiobook. But it's kind of nice knowing that every month, some months are way more than others, but every month since 2016, so that's 6 years ago, that I recorded the audiobook, uploaded it to the ACX platform, and have not touched it since. And every month I have money coming in. That is a real passive income potential that gives me another reason to jump into audiobooks. The same can be true for your self-published Kindle books as well. And then reason number 4 is you can outsource the narration of your audiobook. So this is the thing that I think stops a lot of people. They say, well, I don't have the voice of James Earl Jones. I don't think that I'm a good candidate for reading. It's too much pressure for me to read my book and make too many mistakes. Well, here's the thing most people don't know. When you sign up for a free account on ACX, you can actually listen to different narrators who they are freelance narrators of books. You can listen to and find the right voice. If you want a male voice, you want a British accent, you want a female voice, you can find the right voice, reach out to them, and what they will do and how it works is you get charged per published hour. So in other words, you're not paying them hourly to just go through and record your entire audiobook. You're only paying them for the finishing hours. In other words, if your book is around 30,000 words, it's about 3 hours of audio. If they charge $100 an hour, you've spent $300 with them to record your audiobook. But guess what? You didn't have to do any of the work. You paid $300 for someone else to read it. Now that audiobook is making money every single month. Once your audiobook has earned over $300, every single month from then on is all profit. That's pretty incredible, isn't it? So to be honest with you, there's no reason, there's no excuse to not turn a book into an audiobook. So I wanted to bring this to you today because, again, we just recently launched the audiobook version. We've just cracked into the top 100 in the entrepreneurship category, which is pretty cool because there's some pretty big name books in that category. And if you want the audiobook version of Your Message Matters, go over to Amazon, search for it, grab it today. All right. I hope you are encouraged about, creating an audiobook. If not, then I would encourage you to start by getting the book done and then make sure you take the extra step to get the audiobook version done. Again, also, like I said before, if you don't know where to start, if you're still trying to figure out what your message is, who your audience is, how to build a platform online, then I highly encourage you to go get your free book. This is for our listeners, and we want to offer this to you because I bought a couple thousand copies from my publisher, and we'd love to send you a free copy of the book. You just pay for shipping. Go to yourmessagemattersbook.com and get your free copy. All right, that's it for this episode of the Market Your Message show. And what would you like for me to cover in future episodes? Let me know. And also, what kind of interesting subtopics would you like for me to talk about? Like today I talked about audiobooks, something I've never really talked about on the show. And also take a moment and like, share, subscribe, or even review our show so that we know you're enjoying these episodes, and that encourages us to create more of this same type of content. So until the next show, never forget, your message matters.